Wee. As you can see, I did make a lot of progress since Monday. I do have all of the fur for the back of the head and the neck. Not sewn on yet though. But what I'm going to do, so just to kind of explain my thought process here, I want to sew the spikes into the fur before the fur is sewn to the lining, because I don't want to accidentally sew through the lining and have a bunch of stitches on the inside of the head. But I need to make sure that it kind of all flows smoothly and blends together. So I'm going to sew across just the top here for now, and then sew in the spikes individually, and then once when we are happy with where our spikes are at, because I think we want to go a little bit below where the shoulder seam is, because this is going to come up like here. So the shoulder is right about here on the fur. I'm probably going to go down to about here, just slightly below, like between the shoulder blades, because this is a little long. But we'll come most of the way down to here, which means I don't think I have enough spikes per se for what we have right now. That's okay, because I can always stitch more. We'll find out. Yes, he's existing! Yes, he is! We're making good progress. And he's very floofy. Floofy boy. This is just one of the more tedious parts of the suit, is sewing in all the spikes. So it'll take me, I'll probably spend the entire stream just sewing in the rest of his spikes. They're kind of a slow and steady process, like sewing in finger escapes on a suit. But they should hopefully look super cool by the time I'm done. And I'm very excited for it, because he's turning out so cute. And then of course, once we get all the spikes sewn in, we can finish sewing the rest of his neck fur in, and then we can sew a lining to the neck fur, because that's always important. And then once when the lining and the neck fur are sewn, we can do the final little details on his face, like the eyelids and the, around his eyes, the, eyeliner, which is what holds the eyelids on. So that's usually like the very last step, is putting that little detail on. And I'm thinking, since we ended up using the brown minky for the inside of his mouth, we will match that and we'll use brown felt for his eyeliner. That'll match. I think that'll look really cute with this color palette. I use black a lot, and I really like to get to use different colors than just black for the inside of the mouth and the lining. Because it's something different, you know? It's really cute. I had a suit forever ago that I think I used like gray for or something. It was a pastel color palette. And it just looks so soft. A lot of times, even if I do pastel colors on a suit, I end up doing a dark eyeliner, and then it just kind of doesn't have the same vibe anymore, you know? Like I've got a pre-made right now that actually has a lot of pastels, and I'm thinking probably blue or pink, maybe a hot pink for around those eyes. I don't know, I think hot pink would be too much, because the eyes are hot pink. So I might just do blue for around the eyes. I don't know. That's future me's problem. Future me can worry about what I plan on doing. Current me is going to worry about sewing this thing in. I need more music like this, I think. I like whatever this one is. I do not have a lot of music on the playlist. Still working on getting some copyright-free stuff that isn't full of ads or, you know, actually copyrighted. We'll figure it out, though. Which is one spike right on the edge of the fabric over here that I need to stitch through when I stitch it on, so that way it'll be nice and smooth. If I was smart, I would have waited to sew that one in, but nobody said I was. Like, there's going to be another one right here that I will sew in once I get that side actually sewn. I also realize that at this point of me standing, I'm very much out of frame. That's okay. You guys aren't here for my face anyway. I'll be sitting back down soon. I do want to brush out the seam before we at least a little bit, maybe a length out before we sew in. And that is actually a benefit. Jay, you're here! Yay! You've made it! That is actually a benefit of how I ended up shaving his head, because I forgot to actually shave his face before I sewed it all together. So he's got all these extra wispies kind of randomly, haphazardly around the edge of a lot of his face. But that will help blend out the seam a lot more than if you didn't have that. Which is very nice, actually. I might, if I'm not crazy, I might do it that way. But I also think that might be crazy. Just a little. It depends on the character, I think, because, like, overall your character has pretty much a solid color palette, with a few details here and there. And in this case, since most of his face is the cream color, it works out really well. But for a lot of character designs, I don't think doing it like that would work. Because I don't know if the colors would really behave. I do like not having a sharp edge. I wonder if it would benefit for me to shave just a little bit on the backs of the heads. Like on this fur, after it's sewn on, just a little tiny bit, to blend it out so that it seems kind of hidden. I don't know. Again, future me problems. Oh no, because the microphone's over there. Ah, that's my own fault. This is one of those scenarios where the boom would be smart, wouldn't it? I would set it up, then you guys would be bunkled all over the place. Here, hold on. Let me... Is that better? Because now I'm up here. It doesn't help either that the microphone is right next to the laptop, which is currently blaring the music. You guys aren't hearing double, are you, of the music? I wouldn't think so. But it was loud enough. I'm over here blabbing about random crap and you guys can't even hear me. It is loud today. Is it better now, though, that I've turned it down a little bit? Or do I still need to turn it down more? You know, actually, I want to test something. Watch your ears, I guess. Okay, got it. Interesting. Is it better now, though? Or do I still need to turn the music down a little? I can still turn it down a bit. Because now instead of playing through Spotify, we're playing directly from my laptop. There we go. I keep changing things like an asshole. But I think this will actually work in my favor too. Because normally I have Spotify open, and that uses up a decent bit of my CPU. So, brain hole. VLC does not. So playing the songs directly from my laptop is a heck of a lot easier. And then I'm just going to... He's slipping and he's sliding. I don't think I actually had him strapped on the dummy. I should probably tape that though. Oh, good lord. Always with the getting tangled. There we go. So there's that side. And then we'll sew across this side. Because, yeah, I would end up with these seams along those seams. Like so. He'll be very cute. Yeah, that spikes in a lot better now. I have to put one here right in the middle, and one here right on this edge, and one here, and one here, you know. Oh man, if I was smart, I would have stitched up some of the, while I was over there. That's alright. I can do it on this side. I want to stitch the extra cotton up to the corners. And the music stopped. Why did we stop it? Was that all of the music already? In a whopping 20 minutes? Probably. It probably was. How do I play? Yeah, that was the entire playlist. Huzzah. I do not have enough music. I did not have enough time because I forgot about it until literally an hour ago, and I spent a lot of that not finding music like I meant to. Oh, this is going to be difficult. Sewing left to right is not as easy as sewing right to left. You know what, actually, we're going to, because it's going to drive me nuts. We're just going to start over here, because this actually makes sense. And since I'm here, I'll stitch this up to it while we're at it. Yeah. It'd be so much easier that way. That is the downside to trying to sew through longer furs in a ladder stitch, is that it's a pain in the ass. It is a pain in the booty. Oh, there goes a wee woo. Bingus, they're coming for you. They're coming for all the crimes you committed. Oh, she is out. She is dweemin'. She's having the nappiest nap of her life. Fuzzies. But yeah, see, like this right here. Oh, that blends out so much nicer. That's so pretty. So pretty for the fluffy man. Oop, there's a child right there. Just letting me step all over him. He's got cardboard in his hair. Weirdo. Alright. I'm just gonna pick out this seam a little bit. Yes. So nice. So crispy, so clean, so nice. Honestly, you know what I wish? I wish that there were more beaver furs. Because, like, there's some beaver furs, right? But the color selections are super limited on beaver fur. And yeah, it's a bit more expensive. But it's a shorter, denser pile. So, like, shaving it, first off, you cut beaver fur, it's a nightmare. I hate beaver fur, actually. But I love the way it shaves down. So it's amazing for, like, fingers and faces and toes. Parts that you keep short. But even unshaved, it just looks really good for shorter bodysuits compared to shaving down shag or teddy fur. Because, like, Patch is entirely teddy, and his fur doesn't look bad. But I made a suit that isn't on my website because I wasn't able to get full body photos of it, unfortunately. And it's one of the few short suits I've done, but it's the only one I've done so far that was entirely beaver fur. And oh my god, did that look beautiful. Like, short beaver looks so much better than shaved luxury shag. It's amazing. Like, it was, the entire body was the full length of the fur with shaved fingers and face and stuff, but it was so sleek. Because, like, that's the thing, when you shave down luxury shag, it's not shiny anymore, it's just kind of fuzzy, which is fine. It's soft looking, it's nice, but when you want, like, a sleek look that's short, beaver just looks so good. And teddy's good too, but it's not as short as beaver, so it has a tendency to look shinier and sleeker, but there's also a lot more colors available in teddy than there is in beaver. Beaver does not. It's got like 5 colors, I swear. Very sad. But like this is fox fur, actually, which I don't work with a lot, but it's extremely similar to shag. It's just a slightly less dense pile. The brown is shag. The cream is not, because they did not have shag in the cream. Oop, stepping, buddy. He's just letting me step all over him. Not a care in the world. Corpsing. I've been stabbed. This would be a good point to use my curved hook. Nobody said I was smart. And also, I don't know where I put it. I think I left it out in the living room. Because to be honest with you guys, most of the time, if I'm not streaming, I'm probably not sewing in here just because I'm not a fan of sewing at the desk. I sew more in my lap than I do up on a table. So a lot of my sewing is actually done on the couch. Unless I'm using the machine. If I'm using the machine, it's in here, obviously. But like hand sewing, I do sitting on the couch watching TV or something. Because then it's just a bit more comfortable. On the couch watching House, yep. House or Friends or other random TV shows, Let's Plays, YouTube, you know. I would watch House more, but my portable DVD drive died. Again. It's the second one I've gone through in a year. And to be fair, this time was my fault. The last one was not my fault. This time I put a disc in, and I'm really hoping I didn't scratch up the disc doing it. But it didn't click in all the way. It only partially clicked, so when it started spinning, it wasn't spinning the way it was supposed to. It was wobbling, which then scratched the little laser, or whatever it is, that actually reads the disc. You know, the little bubble thing that reads the discs. Which did not work in my favor. So immediately, right there, ruined it. And I was like, son of a bitch! Because I'd spent decent money on that. It was like maybe a month old. I was so mad. If I had known it wasn't clicked in all the way, I might still be able to watch my Housebox DVD set. I mean, I could, but not on my laptop. I could put it on the DVD player and watch it from the TV, but the TV's so far away. Then I have to wear my glasses to watch him, otherwise he's just a blob. And that's another thing, too. I don't usually wear my glasses. Very rarely at home do I actually wear my glasses. Oh, come on. Gotta make sure I actually... I want to make sure I didn't accidentally loop it around one of the spikes that's already there. There we go. You're laying in the most... There's an entire office. And you're laying right where I need to be. Like, you're not even on your blanket. I love you. I'm glad you're behaving. But you're in the most inconvenient spot possible, bud. How's that scratch on your side looking? Looking kind of gross. I think you got a better appointment coming up. I'll have them take a look at it. There you go. Thank you, bud. So now we got that sewn in. We'll start with this guy. So what I've been doing is I've been sewing up the spikes individually, like so. And then I tie a little knot so they don't come undone in case something happens. But then instead of tying off, I sew it onto the head. Straight from the same strand. Because that's easier than sewing them all and then having to attach another thread. And sew anyway, so. Saves thread, saves time, makes my life easier. And then it still holds up really good. It's golden. I also debate changing the times I stream. At least on Wednesdays, I think. I think I might do a later stream on Wednesdays. But I haven't decided yet. Go like this. Have this one angled this way. Because it really feels like fuzzy. It really feels like a lot of his spikes are kind of going this way, which was unintentional. But it's because of how I sew. So now we're gonna kind of put this one over here to balance it out, and I won't feel like there's so many off to that side of his head. There's this one, and there's these one. I do like how they, you know, they're all kind of flexible and stuff like that. So they all move individually of each other. Oh, come on. And this way too, I can tie all the knots on the underside of the fabric rather than on top of the fabric, which will help keep them less visible and also keep them from coming undone. Because a lot of these ones up front here, I had to tie the knots on the front and tuck them underneath, and then I pulled through and I snipped the thread underneath so they won't come undone. But the knots, if you look for them, are there. Not that you're really going to see them anyway, because they're not particularly huge. But you know, it's a small thing. It's a small, tiny detail. I like hiding the fact that it's sewn, you know? It's a little bit more something. I like this one. It's funky. He looks like he's got a toupee with the fur over his spikes. No! Oh, that's funny. Well, upside, the fur doesn't stay there, otherwise that'd be hilarious. I feel like I know this song, you know? Like it's a song I've heard before. Anywho's. He's gonna look so good though. Like I'm super fucking excited to have all these spikes. Like I'm impatient. I am being impatient because I am excited to see him done already. With all his spikes in and all his fur sewn. It's gonna be so good. I need the pliers. Sometimes you need a pair of pliers. The children, they are dead. Forrest is eeping. He's had a rough morning. And by rough morning, I mean he's been bored. Dang it, and the music again. The music again. Alright. Let's go to our other playlist then. Oop. Oop. Oop, oop. We'll just play more of this. And hopefully I don't start lagging like crazy. Am I lagging like crazy now? Oh no. Oh well. Interesting. I feel feel like it's gotta be your brain. Because, like, I've got the music turned down. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna try something. Is this better? I want to know, is this better? I feel like I'm so laggy right now. Oh my god. So I've been muffled this whole time because I put this damn thing on there to make sure I keep fur out of the mic. Okay, cool beans. Put it on there for nothing because I'm pretty sure it's meant to be used for more like if you're up close to the microphone, you know, talking to it. So that way you're not, you know, breathing into the microphone. You know, because nobody wants that sound. It's an awful sound. But clearly it does not work well if I'm way over here. God damn it. The joys of technology. I'm learning, Jay. I'm learning. I'm learning so goodly. There we go. So through the fabric. There we go. Ready for a nap. Alright, so that kind of fills in the empty gaps there. The hard part is trying to keep it looking natural and not like it's just rows straight on of spikes, you know, like a field of trees, like the tree farms. So we want it to look kind of natural, but we want it to look also good. Is the hard part, you know. Support is just a phone call away. You should talk to Jay. I feel like it looks good. Some of these are floppier than others because I don't think I stitched him as to like this one. He's not stitched super snug. But I think that adds a bit more to the dynamics because like these little ones would move more freely than the big ones, I think, honestly, just naturally speaking. I like the extra wiggle with the, because then when you like, you know, it's gonna move. I like the dynamics. And even if some of them aren't sewn like as tightly, that doesn't mean they're not sewn as well. That is a key point here. Just because they wiggle a little more just means they wiggle a little more. This thread is not gonna let go, which is the good thing, because that's not always the case. Sometimes it do mean that. Yeah, you get it. I really like when I can make suits that have um, something about them, you know, um, like the skull dog I made a little bit ago has all those leaves on it. And I like the strands of leaves because the strands of leaves can move around. They add a pop of something different to the suit, you know, something a bit unique. Um, and like Pat, she's got his crochet, which doesn't necessarily do much. I mean, he's got his crochet hair, the yarn hair, and I guess that moves a bit, but for the most part, it doesn't do much. Um, but it looks cool, you know? Like it's something unique to his suit. It's kind of a thing for that suit. And I think these spikes really are kind of the thing of this suit. Other than the fact that he's just a Nexu in general, I feel like is pretty unique. There's not too many of those running around, you know? Unlike the skull dogs and the coyotes. But oh, big stretch, Bingle. Oh yeah, that was so rough. Rough day for Bingus. She had to stretch. Whose sad horn is this? Yeah. I would like to see more unique species like this, you know? Because, like, there are definitely unique suits out there, don't get me wrong. But I think a lot of suits tend to kind of be some variation of feline or canine, you know? I put this lower than I wanted, I think. Well, we'll work with it. Yeah. There's a lot of dragons, yeah. But they're all like fluffy dragons, you know? I don't see a whole lot of variation in dragons either too often. Like a lot of them are usually angel dragons or something similar, you know? Or like a dragon hybrid, so it's got canine or feline in it. But like it's really cool seeing people who are like, oh yeah, this suit's a bee, and I'm like, a fucking bee. I love the bee, you know, like, or like fandom based characters where like the entire suit is just designed around the concept of a fandom. I feel like those are a bit more unique because they have more unique elements that you don't often see in suits. We love the bees. All of the bees. I'm trying to think like unusual tail shapes or unusual patterns or electronics. Like there's a lot of protogens, but aside from that, like the most electronics you see in a lot of suits is glowing eyes. You know, maybe a glowing mouth. And I have seen a suit or two that has like full body LEDs and stuff, but then it's a white suit, and that's kind of it. And I'm like, oh wow. Or like sharks and stuff. You don't see a whole lot of sharks, but you see things like manakits a lot. Yeah. And like with deer, you see, yeah, like a fan. Like that's kind of like that's all I know how to install is a fan. I want to get into installing LEDs into suits, but the big thing with me installing LEDs is I want to know for a fact that I can make them waterproof first. Like, I'm talking, you don't have to remove them at all, and you can still submerge the head completely waterproof. Because otherwise, it's a pain in the ass to clean, and I feel like... Well, that was just rude. What was that? What is that about? Anyway, aside from whatever that was about, like, I feel like if you have LEDs in a suit, a lot of times the LEDs are just, like, at best, water resistant. So, like, oh, if it rains, it's fine. But don't get them wet otherwise, you know, like, no significant amounts of water. So if you give them a bath, you have to be super careful that anywhere there's LEDs and stuff, you don't get them wet. And I'm like... But it's a fursuit, and then you'll never get it properly clean, and then it stinks, and germs, and, you know, all that stuff. Ooh, cyborg platypus sounds cool as fuck. That sounds so cool. Okay, but, like, Jay, you're giving me ideas, and I already have enough ideas. I have too many ideas, and I can't make any of them. Like the caterpillar. I really want to make that suit. I really want to make the caterpillar. That's so many stripes, though. And, like, I like putting fun materials on suits. Right? A platypus suit. I've seen maybe 3 platypus suits, and they all look different. They're all unique in their own ways, which is cool as fuck. Because, first off, it's a platypus. It's pretty unique to begin with. But it's interesting seeing how everybody goes about making a platypus suit, because there's not, like, a standard to it yet, you know? Because there's not that many out there. They're so cool. And I think a cyborg platypus would be dope. Brain hole. But, like, I like working with fun materials and stuff. Like, I've got a couple ideas that would require, like, iridescent fabrics or embroidery. And, like, Patchy's got his crochet, and I have a poodle pre-made that I did that has tulle for hair. The skull dog with the flower, with the, not flowers, but with the plants on it. I did a cockatiel that sold at the last convention I was at. And it's got, like, UV fur and stuff, which is pretty common. But the feathers are actually made out of these pampas plants from Joann's. So here, I can actually grab one. This is a blue one I bought. Because I thought it would be cool to make, like, a raptor. Like an Archaeopteryx or something. And use, like, I think I have blues, I've got purples, I might have a little bit of black. But then I just take these out, and they're like individual feathers, and they're cool because they got some, you know, look at that. They're a little fuzzy from sitting in the corner, but look at that dynamics. Look at how that moves. Like, that would be really cool just as feathers or as hair or just spikes, you know, like fuzzy spikes coming out down the spine or something. They would be so cool to put in the whole thing. So I used some cream colored ones for, like, the crest on a cockatiel, and I thought it turned out so good. And it's fun because then you move and it swishes. It swishes. I like the swishy. And, like, I feel like that's the appeal of, like, monster length furs and stuff too, is because it's hard to find. I mean, it's not really that hard to find. There's a lot of monster fur these days. But, like, finding fun textures and super long furs versus super short furs, and playing with the different textures and the fur length and stuff like that is a really cool and fun thing to do. And I feel like a lot of makers don't necessarily do that. Like, there are definitely some that do, and they know what they're doing when it comes to playing around with different fur lengths and stuff. Especially on bodysuits in particular. Because I know a lot of makers will shave down most, if not all, of a bodysuit. But like, I like the fluffy look, you know? I think it's weird to have just shaved boobs, like just shaved, and then everything else is super fluffy. But I like when they play with it. Like, if there's a lot of shaved areas, but then there's like stripes of color that are super fluffy or something like that. That stuff is cool, you know? And then on top of that, oh, what's that? I saw someone on TikTok working on a suit, and it had like white across, you know, the cheek section of the face. But then right here in that white was another patch of fur that was also white. It was slightly different, but normally, like, if you're just like looking at the suit, you're not going to notice it, especially if you don't know it's there. And then under black light, it was a star that glowed under black light that you couldn't see otherwise. And I'm like, okay, that is cool as shit, right? The hard part though is like color matching for that, like, because you could still see that it was there a little bit. It wasn't super noticeable, but you could tell it was there. And that's the same, like, if you're doing it with orange, right? Like normal orange, whatever, you can get pumpkin orange fur, but then color matching to orange UV, it's so orange that you would notice, hey, that spot looks a little different, and I can't think of why that looks different. And then, whoof, I think it would look cool as fuck to do like a leopard print, right? With, because the leopard print has so many shades of like grays and stuff, but if you did it like in neon colors and just did different stripes, like within the patches of orange or pink or whatever, then also doing random patches of UV orange and pink, so then under black light there's just these other random spots that glow in the spots. Like, that would be a really cool way to use that. I think it would just be cool to have like a neon sign fursuit kind of a deal, you know? There's so many unique ways to use stuff, and I thought that was cool as fuck when they showed that. Like, oh, how has nobody done this before? Okay. Here's the issue we're running into right now, right? And this guy's kind of angled downwards, because fur be like that. There's no foam here holding it upright. So he's kind of, compared to these ones that are sitting upright. So I kind of want to stick one here with just this one stitch here. That would kind of give us more of a gradient, but I don't know. I don't want it to feel too cluttered either. I think if we do one here and then later on do a small one. Because I also kind of want to taper it in a little bit. You know? It's like this will come here. So we'll have, it won't be too much of a taper, but it'll come down and then we'll around here. You can actually see where I drew with my hands. So it'd be like this and like this. And then like the last spike would be like, I'd probably do little ones at the end. There's not a huge difference in the lengths, but you know, do little ones at the end here. But I think either way, overall, they're gonna end up being more angled like this off the suit, rather than because there's no foam holding them up. But I want to try to create a nice gradient between the ones up top that are upright and the ones that are kind of a little more floopy floppy, which we already have something going over here with this guy. He's vibing. He's vibing so hard. I also want to correct the angle of the spikes, because I feel like a lot of them are pivoted. I want to, like so. I'm thinking if it's just so crammed right there, though. And I feel like right here will look really weird. Okay, you know what? We're gonna have a snug spot. That's okay. But yeah, like I like when I see other makers just playing with the materials they have, like the worm suits, the worms on a string. I feel like they're a little overdone at this point because everybody kind of jumped on the trend of making a worm suit. But the idea in and of itself was really cool. Like, hey, I like worm on string. Makes worm on string suit. And it's really cool. And like I have these, I can show you actually. I got giant googly eyes. Giant googly eyes. Oh yes. Your worm suit is adorable. Don't get me wrong. I still love the worm suits. They are adorable. They just kind of also exploded the way like Dino Masks did. So now I see them a lot, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with there being a lot of them. I still love them. They're unique in general because you still... It's just a cool idea, you know? And I've seen a lot of different versions of the worm suits too, despite them all being based off of the same thing. They're so cute. But like I got those googly eyes and I want to do like a googly-eyed fursuit. I don't know what species though. I've seen a couple around. I can't remember the last time I saw another one was though. But I've seen several of them in existence at least. I've seen one or two aside from you in person. Okay, I'm hearing you out. I'm hearing you out. Tell me. I want to know. Ooh, okay, see. That's a literal angel dragon. I like that. I like biblically accurate angel dragon. I think if you're gonna do a with a bunch of googly eyes. Okay, but what if, right? Because I'm also thinking more, I think it would look cool both as a Toonie style suit with the googly eyes on a normal angel dragon head. But I'm also thinking, what if a hyper-realistic suit? Like spikes. Hold on, sidetrack. Yeah, see, that's a much nicer gradient right there with the spikes. I wish he was turned like this and not like that, but oh well. That still looks cool. Spikes. Brain hole. I know. This is. Don't worry, I'll tell you the idea when you come back. I'll tell you. My cookie. What you doing? I'm just being dead. It gets so hot in here so quick. Good lord. I don't want to have the door open today, though. Because I'm loud. I'm loud when I stream. And these walls are thin. Which means it's definitely not going to be a long stream today. Okay, everybody alive? Everybody alive to hear my amazing ideas? Because I have an idea for the Dutch Angel Dragon. Yay, you lived. Okay. Oh, fuck, that cracked my neck real good. A realistic suit though, right? Like get a realistic style horse head foam base or even a resin base. Oh, okay. New idea. I just ideaed myself. My neck is burning now. Pinched a nerve, I guess. Like, it feels like I scraped my neck. So, um, if I could think for 5 seconds, um, having Tourette's takes a lot of brain power. Um, realistic style horse head, right? I gotta sit this down so I can talk about it. Realistic style horse head, 3D or resin, whatever, base with a moving jaw, but the moving jaw comes all the way back, right? Like full length, not just moving jaw, no horse mouth, no, extra long, right? Spiky teeth. We're talking cryptid type shit here. Realistic style horse head, and then do the biblically accurate angel with like actual eyes and stuff. Like, I think that would be cool. That would be something. And then I think it'd be even funnier if you had both the realistic cryptid style, biblically accurate angel dragon next to the googly eye angel dragon. Like, they need to be best friends and they need to go to cons together. They're brothers and they were roommates. I don't know, that got weird, but like I need to see them together everywhere they go. Exactly. Um, I think that would be cool as fuck. No, I'm pretty sure you spelled that right. That's how you spell coexist. If I can read. Yes. I think you'd have to do 4 separate suits, you know? And I also feel like, bro, what are you. What is in your mouth? Don't be eating stuff. He's like, I wasn't eating anything. I don't believe you for a second. He's a little shit, and he loves putting stuff in his mouth. Usually he's pretty good, but every once in a while, he'll just decide that anything that's on the floor is a snack today. And it's like, dude, no, that's not how that works. But I think we can put another big guy. Well, I don't want to line them up, though. See, because here's the issue, is now I'm ending up kind of in they're coming in rows territory with the spikes. So I'm just trying to alternate them. At least a little bit. Like, I think that would be cool to also see in both a toony and hyper realistic style. I think someone needs to do a collab, right? We need to see some collabs where we get the hyper realistic style next to an exact copy, but toony style. Like, just get the exact same character in both. Like, I really like when I see people who can afford multiple fursuits who just have 7 different fursuit heads of the same character, and they all look the same but different, because they're all different style fursuit makers. Like, they might have like a Lemon Brat head and then also a Beauty of the Base head somehow, like, and then somewhere in the corner is a freaking who am I thinking of? Like, I know. Couldn't be me either, buddy. The only reason I have so many fursuit heads is because I make them. And even then, I can't afford it. But yeah, look at that! Look at that! I need a stick. I don't have a brain anymore. Well, it's nice having one, I guess. Dude, stop licking your toes. What do you have? This is not a snack. Oh shit. This is what I'm talking about. Some days he eats everything. He's got a little tiny scrap of Minky that he must have found. Yeah, you can't have it. And this is why I try to keep the office extra clean when he exists. Because any tiny piece of fur or Minky, like these little tufts that come off the raw edges, like it's loose fur. He will eat this. Like he will fight you to eat those. He loves eating fur. Real, fake, his, Bingus's, fabric, does not matter. He just wants it in his mouth. I think it's a texture thing. But he puts everything in his mouth. All the time. He's awful about it. I know this song. I programmed a Christmas light show to that song once. It was a weird time. Are we still... Okay. What else am I thinking? I'm thinking big brain stuff. Yeah. You got fuzzies on you. Yeah, I can see the toupee bit. That you mentioned earlier. But like, I want to see more dinosaur suits. Because there's not a whole lot of dinosaur suits. I did see a Parasaurolophus the other day. And I was like, yes! I like that one. And like, I mean like not just dino mask dinosaur suits. I mean like actual dinosaur suits. Or even just modified dinosaur masks that look like other dinosaurs. You know, we don't judge what the materials are. We judge what the character is. Like, there's so many raptors. There's so many T-Rexes. But like, what about like a Stegosaurus or a Deinonychus or like the really cool ones that also exist out there? Like, I want to see. Like, I like seeing a Parasaurolophus. Don't get me wrong, that one's one of my favorites. But like an Archaeopteryx, or what's the other one? You know, like I want to see more unique species, and not just the same 3 options over and over. Like, there's so many tigers and leopards, and there's so many cats and dogs. Like, there's a lot of huskies. And there's a lot of German Shepherds. Oh, Bingus, your breath. Good lord, babe. Stop breathing, please. Thank you. She's breathing straight in my direction, and she smells so bad. She's got bad breath. But, like, brain hole. I like seeing more of like the lesser known species, like species that people haven't even heard of. Okay, listen. She actually knows what that means. So she is my retired service dog, which means that, yeah, we're talking about you. Yes, we are. But it means that almost every day for a few years, because she didn't work for very long. She started working when she was older, as it was, and now she's got arthritis, so she can't work anymore, and she's very upset about it. She misses going out and about, poor baby. But that means I'd be in the car with her every day for God knows how long, right? And dogs and cars, hot as fuck. It's always hot in a car, especially in the summer months. So it gets warm out, and maybe my AC's not keeping up or not cooling off the car as quickly as it should, you know, because the car is getting old. Well, then I have her in the back seat, leaning over my shoulder. So the amount of times I've had to reach behind me like this because I'm fucking driving and go stop breathing and just and she would go and close her mouth and I'd be like, yes, good girl. So she learned that when I tell her to stop breathing, it means to close her mouth and face away from me. Which meant that I no longer had to sit there and go like this whenever I was driving. She's panting right over my shoulder. I could just tell her stop breathing and she'd go away. Which sounds so mean. But it works. Then she doesn't breathe in my face anymore. And I don't have to smell her stinky hot breath. It's not something I intentionally taught her. But it is something she learned. And it's hilarious every time. We also learned drugs. We like drugs. And the reason she learned that one is because she learned it wrong. She was at one point sick with an infection and she had a cone and all that, you know. And she was also very, very upset because that meant she had to take 2 weeks off from working, which means I had to leave the house without her. And she did not like that. She was like, I want to go to work. But it also meant that she was on like 3 different medications because we'd had issues where we'd gone to a different vet and they tried treating it with just a random antibiotic, didn't look into it any further. They didn't even weigh her. They just asked me how much I thought she weighed, which I kept up with that shit. I was like, she is 58 pounds. Not anymore. She's a little chunky these days. But at the time, I knew exactly how much she weighed. But even so, the antibiotics that we first went through didn't work, and the infection came back. So I went to a different vet that is much better, actually, you know, does his job. And he put her on some stronger antibiotics since the first ones didn't work, and he put her on this other preventative medication just in case. And then she had like a cream that we had to put over the infected area to help reduce inflammation and itching. Keep the skin healthy. And then she had, of course, her giant-ass cone because she's a big dog with a long-ass snoot. So her cone is like this big, IRL. It really is. Huge. But in order to get her to take her meds, because like she will, you know, she'll sit there and she won't eat them. She won't eat them, right? So you do the thing where you shove it as far back in their mouth as you can. You make them swallow. Well, neither of us like doing that. Neither of us liked it at all. So I went out and I bought a can of squeeze cheese. You know, the crazy cheese, Cheese Whiz, whatever it's called. Depends on what brand you buy. But I bought a can of that. Oh, we're talking about the time I gave Bingus drugs. Yeah, drugs. You see her perking up in the corner. And I bought the can of squeeze cheese, and I would get each pill, because these were not small pills, and I would put just the tiniest dollop of squeeze cheese on top and ask her if she was gonna do her drugs. I'd be like, you want some drugs? Squeeze, and then she'd take it. So after doing that for 2 weeks straight, she learned that squeeze cheese is called drugs. So that's what she thinks I'm talking about whenever I mention it, and that's why she perks up when she hears, yeah, I'm good. But that's what she thinks I mean when I say drugs. And there's other things, like I don't know about this one, but crimes and felonies. Yeah, you like felonies. I don't know what it is. I did not teach her felonies. I did not. This is like, I saw another dog that likes, what is it, murder or something? There's a golden retriever that just really likes the word murder. Sarah likes felonies, and not just the word felonies, but she likes it when you bring up specific felonies, like money laundering and tax evasion and corporate greed. I mean, that's not really a felony, but it should be. You want to commit tax fraud? Money laundering? Oh, we like money laundering. Money laundering's her favorite. She does like tax evasions. Tax evasions are good. Yeah, you like tax evasion? You can see she's got her ears out. She's looking at me. Yeah? What about grand larceny? Grand theft auto? What about breaking and entering? No? Petty theft? You're right, that one's not a felony. What are some other felonies? That's the thing. The list of felonies I can think of is very short. Because I do not know a lot of felonies. Because believe it or not, I don't commit felonies. What about pirating? Is that a felony? Or is that just a petty crime? What about murder? First degree murder. Second degree? She's looking at me, she's like, I don't care for murder. You just like tax evasion, huh? Yeah, and money laundering. I'm pretty sure this bitch used to be involved with the mafia or something in a past life. Like, it was... Yeah. Your tail stuck under your leg. I see you trying to wag it. She's a little weirdo. But a lot of times, like right now, she's really comfy. She doesn't want to get up. But a lot of times, if you bring it up, she will get up and she will get excited about it. She's like, oh, felonies? Yeah, felonies. So you can see her little ears perking. Ah, she's funny. But, what do we think right here? We'll put one more right here, I think, to help bridge that. Yeah. But she's a little weirdo. And, yeah, are you a weirdo? Oh, big sigh. Oh, the big sigh. Ow. Crunched my neck real good. How many more times can I say, But anywho's, yeah. So, she's funky. She's actually where the crime sticker comes from, originally. Because we would say crimes a lot, and then we'd put the pose with it. So now everybody does the crimes. And now I have the crime sticker. I don't know why we call her Bingus, though. She just is Bingus. Yeah, she likes being called it. And there's a lot of times where, if you caught us walking through, like, a Walmart or something, rather than actually giving her treats, I would just be saying random variations of Bingus at her, and she would love it. Especially if I didn't happen to have treats on. Like, if we went for a quick trip to Walmart that I didn't plan to pick up one or two things, and I ran out of treats that day or something, you know. Because sometimes that would happen. Not often, but once in a while. And she's very food motivated. So, there's sometimes where I just be walking through, I'd be like, Bingus, bingo bongo, Bartholomew the Third, bing wings, bingo bingo, bingo wingo, good bingus, bingo bongo. Like, she's, yeah. I'm like, oh, you're doing so good. Like, we're power walking, right? She's trotting next to me. It's a whole thing. But she also had her favorite places. She likes going to Joann's, and not anymore. And she liked going to the dollar store. Joanne's in the dollar store. You can see her ears perking up, maybe. I don't know. She's a little off screen now. But Joanne's in the dollar store were her favorite place. Yeah, you want to go to the dollar store? We're not going. We're not going. Especially not you, you little shit. Forrest is over there like excited. Bingus is over here like, really? The dollar store? I love the dollar store. She does. She loved the dollar store. And a lot of that, I think, is because when she first started working, those were the places we went to the most, were Joanne's and the dollar store. Because there was a long, long time where I didn't trust her in Walmart to behave herself. For good reasons, but that's a whole other story. So that's where we took her, because they were smaller stores, and there was less people, so there was less distractions. And starting out, that was easier for her to handle as far as doing her job and not being distracted. And then she got really good at it, and, you know, she did get to go to a con once before she retired. She would have gone to MCFC in 2024, I think, is what it was. Because I went to MFF 2023. And that's where she went. Her first con and my first con was MFF 2023. Which is not a good con to start out with. Like, it's not a bad con, but when you don't know what a fur con is like, and you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know where anything is, and also you're disabled with a service dog, it's not a great idea. So that was our first ever con, and she did amazing. We did have to leave one panel early because Bingus, despite all of her training and all of her life experience, is scared of some random things. For example, she is scared of cardboard boxes. She's gotten much better about it, you know, especially with working, she got used to it. She still doesn't like them, but she's not, like, terrified of them anymore. She also has a thing about bicycles. She's not scared of them per se, but she doesn't like them. They weird her out. But she likes bike joring, so I'm not sure what that's about. She also doesn't like the vacuum, like most dogs, which is weird because all of the other dogs, including Forrest that I've ever had no problems with the vacuum. But also, she is afraid of applause. Not just... Like, if it's just me clapping, she's fine. But if you get, I'd say 3 people, because 2 she might be able to handle. She might be like, what the fuck are you guys clapping for? But if it's 3 or more people clapping, sorry. Was that loud? Is that too loud? Oh no, wait, or are you responding to Luna? Listen, I'm confused. Anyway, but if it's 3 or more people clapping, she would lose her mind. She is terrified of the sound of applause. To the point that actually we did have to leave a college class once because she was like, after everything you need to applaud. And it would be like her normal lessons that she wanted us to clap for. Okay, to Luna. Okay. I was like, was I clapping too loud? Did the microphone pick that up big time? But, so we ended up having to drop that class. So there was a panel at MFF. And it was a very high-speed panel. Like, all the house lights were down, and it was like a comedy skit, right? They try to do, I think it was like 30 skits within an hour or something like that. I don't remember. And it was very, very funny. But their idea of accessibility was to put all of us right front and center. So I am in the very front row, 5 feet from the stage, and they've got lights directly at eyeball level, flashbanging me every 3 seconds. And speakers are loud as shit because they're trying to make it loud enough for the back of house. Meanwhile, my poor service dog is getting her ears blasted, and then the entire crowd of 100 or so people is behind her, clapping every 2 minutes. She props to her, she did so good. Like, she didn't break her downstay, she stayed where she was, but she did very slowly inch her way under my chair. Like, she turned and she just tucked on, like, she was tucked under my chair. I was like, oh, babe, and I felt so bad. Because she doesn't have a clue what's going on, you know? And I didn't have any ear protection for her because I wasn't expecting to need it. So I got up and I was going to leave. I was like, okay. And normally if I get up, she's up right away. You know, like, she's like, all right, where are we going? Let's go. And she didn't even notice. She was so scared, shivering under the chair. I was like, come on. So I gently tap her and she just, like, so sad, looks over her shoulder at me from under the chair. And I'm like, come on, let's go. We'll get out of here and it won't be so scary. Come on. So then she got up and she got in a heel. And again, she stayed in a heel. Like, she's terrified. But she is so good. She stayed in a heel the entire time. Even though she was terrified of all the stuff. And then as soon as we stepped out of the auditorium, literally, the minute we went through the doors, she goes, anyway, what's next? Like nothing ever happened. And I'm like, you bitch. Because that was a fun panel. But she is absolutely scared of applause. It's the weirdest thing for her to be scared of. Because she's also perfectly fine with an 18-wheeler speeding by us. Because we did live in Germany for a while, and where we lived at least, there was not much space between the sidewalk and the road, and straight up big ass truck. I jumped. Like, I wasn't ready for it. Right next to us. And she's just trotting along, happy to be going for a walk. And I'm like, she's not scared of trains. Like, we went to a parade in the small town we lived in for a while. And, you know, they have the band and all that stuff. And that stuff's, you know, loud as shit. She loved it. The only part she didn't like, she was cold. Because it was winter. So I had to give her my jacket because she was shivering her ass off. She's spoiled, by the way, if you couldn't tell. We were both weirded out, though, by the Walmart things. The floor cleaners they have now. The self-driving ones. Because we had never seen them before. I don't go into Walmart a lot. Because it's very hard for me to walk around for more than 20 minutes, especially for shopping and stuff like that. Especially when I had her, because people would frequently stop us, and they'd be like, oh, how's your dog? I had a dog once, it died. Or they wouldn't even stop us, they just all over my dog, you know? And, like, I'm trying to grocery shop. I'm not here to be petted or talked to about someone's dead dog every 5 seconds. But even without her, it's very hard for me to shop because it's hard for me to function in general. So I don't go into Walmart a lot. And Walmart is notorious for people bringing their pets in, even though they don't allow pets, because they don't stop anybody from bringing their pets in. Very rarely do pets get stopped at Walmart. And it pisses me off because that's very dangerous for me with my service dogs. Just in general. But that's a whole other bag of worms. But the first time we saw one was one of the few times we'd gone into a Walmart and we're walking around and suddenly this thing's scooting by and she's freaking out because, oh my god, giant vacuum, one of her biggest fears. Me is freaking out because, oh my god, that giant vacuum doesn't have anybody driving. Is it supposed to do? Is that okay? Is it supposed to be driving without someone? It's roped off. It must be fine. Like, I thought it was on the loose, you know? Like someone's lawnmower just skedaddling. But it was fine. Apparently they're supposed to do that. We gave it a wide berth that day. But after that, you know, it was a normal occurrence, and we'd go in, and it would be like, oh, that's weird. Anyway, I still don't like them. They still weird me out. So, Forrest, on the other hand, loves the vacuums. In fact, when he was a puppy, you know, still potty training and all that stuff, and we'd have to get out the carpet cleaner, which I don't know if you've ever used a carpet cleaner, but they're loud as shit. They're way louder than a vacuum. You know, he'd be in trouble. We'd make him go outside and finish going potty, whatever, and we'd come back in and we'd clean the carpet. Well, he'd come over watching as I loudly carpet clean. Every time, without fail. He loves the vacuum. He loves loud noises and things that bang around. Like plastic water bottles are his favorite. He loves plastic water bottles. Yeah, you like the water bottles, huh? You like bottles. If we run out of milk, the empty carton, we take the cap off, we take the little ring off and all that. And we give it to him to play with for a little bit. Because he just likes the noise it makes. He likes chewing on it. Yeah. Oh, big stretch. Yeah, hi, baby mans. Yeah. He is, however, scared of people. So he's not a very good prospect so far. He is supposed to be becoming my service dog. Yeah, yes you are. You're supposed to be the next one in line. You're still a baby, though. So he gets scared of the most random of things. Like last winter when we first brought him home, he was terrified of Christmas lights. And then he realized they were fine and they're not scary. Yeah, oh, it's a big baby. But he's also, like at home, he's still pretty awful. Whenever he sees the neighbors, he barks like crazy. Bangus is not a big barker, never has been. He barks a lot. But we're working on it. Yeah, say we're getting better about seeing strangers existing. He heals amazingly, you know, he can behave. He's just not very good. Around people, which is stupid. Say it defeats your whole purpose, doesn't it? Yeah. It makes you completely useless. You're just cute now. But hopefully it's something that we can keep working with, and he'll hopefully grow out of as he gets older and more exposed to more strangers and people, and realizes that people are allowed to exist and we don't need to scream at them. He's a bit baby. Yeah, we need a big baby break. Yeah. Hi. Hello. Yeah, hi. Big baby break. Can I help you? Oh. You gotta go potty? Give me a real boot. Thank you. Alright, potty break for the dogs. Potty break for the doggos.
This jackpot pressure system isn't going anywhere. Expect more FanDuel Casino jackpots continuing throughout
With jackpots on more games, like Huff and More Puff and Cash Eruption, there's always a chance of a FanDuel Casino jackpot in the forecast. FanDuel Casino jackpots. More jackpots, more winners every hour. 21 plus and present in select states. Opt-in required and then must expressly opt out. Only available on select games. Jackpot wagers and awards are independent from the underlying games. See rules at FanDuel.casino.com for restrictions and eligible games. Every hour is based on more jackpots and winners per hour on average versus prior to February 18, 2025. No guaranteed jackpot winner every hour. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Alright. Dogs have had their potty break. Yeah, hi. Hello. I feel like I don't smell any different than I did 2 seconds ago. I don't have cookies in my pocket. I do not. He's like, I wish you did though. Yeah, you be baby. You be baby. Oh my goodness, you be baby. Oh, you be baby. Oh, you be baby. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. You're pushing me. Yes, you are. You're pushing me. Can you scoot, scoot? Alright. Hi, hello. Hi, yes, I love you. I do. I love you even though you're a little shit. And your ears smell weird because we cleaned them this morning. Yeah. Can I go back to working now? He's a dork. Yeah, you're a big dork. Yes, you are. There we go. Do not eat your sister's ears. Psst, stop licking her face. It's horrible, I tell you what. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. Sir, you're being awfully nosy. Awfully nosy, man. He's like, I've had a taste of freedom. He's awake now that he had a long nap. But yeah, each of the dogs has their own quirks. They're freaking weirdos. Both of them. And there's that spike. And the sad thing is I spent all night flipping all of these spikes. And a little bit this morning too, because it's a lot of spikes to flip. And we are already almost out of spikes. Oh, I dropped one. Right there. Now he's covered in random fur. You being nosy? Yeah. Because these are little, and then 4 big ones left. So I should probably start actually doing some little ones around the edges. I wonder if it would benefit me to kind of start doing a outline with the little ones. So that's kind of like the purpose of the smaller spikes, that they're meant to be on the outer edge. Back to filling in with the spikes, because like I think we probably have 2 more here of the big spikes. Dogs are dead now. Oh, goodness. Ready for a nap. It is very hot in here today, though. It's very hot outside today. And since I have the door closed, there isn't really any AC in here at the moment, so it's getting toasty. But that's my own fault. Okay. Oh, tangled. There we go. Yeah, so far this seems to be the slowest part of your suit, of making this suit. Just because it's a lot of pieces. It's a lot of pieces. I could count them. I could count how many we have so far. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. We have 25 sewn in so far. And there's another 9 here. And we're not even halfway. So there's probably going to be a total of 50, 60 spikes. By the time we're actually done. Which is a lot of spikes. I don't think I've ever actually had to do this many spikes. I haven't really sewn spikes on a suit much. I think I've sewn one suit that had like a small handful of spikes. Can't really think of any off the top of my head that I've done spikes. I've done a lot of spots before. I had a suit that had like 105 spots or something like that. And then I had a
delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite grocery items delivered straight to you. Get ice cream, soda, and snacks from your favorite stores like Wegmans and CVS and make the most of every moment. Now that sounds like a good summer.
I've had suits that had a lot of pieces, like a lot of stripes and stuff. I made a tail once that had 52 pieces because it was a calico mixed cat. So it had like, it was a tabby calico, and you could see the tabby stripes in the orange spots. Problem is the furs I had purchased, the furs I had for those stripes, were super, super similar in color. So even though I sewed in all those stripes, you couldn't really see them because the colors were so similar, which sucked. That was also forever ago when I first started making suits, and that was one of my first pre-mades. But you know, you live and you learn. It's the whole point of living, is for learning. Oh, for the love of God. He does not want to stay. Okay. First off, I'm going to loosen up the strap so it doesn't stretch out too much over time. And then I'm going to tape him to the ed head. Because I do need him on the ed head for this at least. And this will keep him from sliding off. Apparently the bookshelf has become super interesting all of a sudden. I thought he was... Do not lick the bookshelf. Do not... I saw you. You can't pretend. He legitimately goes... like he wasn't licking it. Little shit. Hey! Don't lick the books. care how good they smell. You can't eat them. Like I said, sometimes he wants to put everything in his mouth. He's a little weirdo. But everything's not a snack, is it? Oh, now he's dead. Oh, dead baby. Taking a nap. Good. He needs a nap. Hair. Alright. I'm gonna sew this piece up, and then I think we'll be done for today. Because as much as I'd like to stay on longer... Oh, Venus is dreaming. The little feeties are kicking. As much as I'd like to stay on longer today, I cannot, as I have other things to do this afternoon. Like not die of heat stroke in my office. No, but for realsies. I have to stop it for today, so... Finish this piece up, we'll find who to stream to, who we're gonna raid. And then... what is today? Wednesday? I might stream tomorrow. Depends on the vibes. Let's see, who do we want to raid? Alright, that was weird. Do 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 do. Yeah. Let's pop on over here. Let's see. Raid. There we go. We'll head on over there. And we'll have fun raiding. And then I will see you guys either tomorrow or next week. And depending on how things go, I mean, if it's tomorrow, it'll be more of this most likely. But if it's next week, we might actually be moving on to the hand paws most likely. Because that's usually what I do after a head is the hand paws. And then the tail or the feet paws, depending on the vibes. And then the last thing's usually the bodysuit, so... We'll figure it out. Hand paw, yeah. Let's skiboodle. Let's go. Huzzah.